Are you ready, Aaron?
Same. You're not ready? You're not ready? I'm ready? Sweet. We're ready to go. Okay, and with that being...
That's an intro right in itself.
That's what I was trying to do and you interrupted me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to lead right into it. I was like, okay, and with that... But no, that was organic and natural, and now it's not.
All right.
Way to blow it.
At least Josh did not blow the intro today. Welcome to another episode of Use Your Words Podcast. This is being released, I believe, the week of July 4th. This will be released July 1st, actually. So happy 4th of July this weekend. For those of you who get off of work this week, happy 3rd of July as well. Congratulations. You get a 3-day weekend, Friday.
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So thank you for joining us on this Wednesday episode of Use Your Words Podcast, as we are now having some, welcome. So, we compiled our list of things to talk about, of things to do, of things to comprehend, to debate, discuss, and have fun with. And Aaron goes, let's talk about Chaz Chop. And I'm like,
oh no,
I like Chaz Chop. Chaz Chop is interesting. There's been a lot of developments, a lot of changes, a lot of controversy surrounding that whole thing over in Seattle. And there have been other places around the U.S. who are either emulating or attempting to emulate the Chaz Chop experience. So down in Chicago, there's a group that wants to try. There's a group that's actually doing it out in New York. And there was the group that tried to do it right outside the White House to make the White House an occupied zone, which good luck with that one. I don't think that's going to work too well for you.
No.
You know, something tells me Trump is going to say, I am not being honored here.
Well, then
I can't do a Trump impersonation.
All the Secret Service people will take him out.
Yeah, well, I don't think they're going to shoot them, Aaron. I'm sorry.
If it gets bad enough. If they tried to make a move on the White House.
If they tried to break in, I don't think they would shoot first unless they're being shot at. They would try to, they would attempt to tackle them first.
Guns blazing.
Especially, you got little old grannies, who are vegans who can barely move trying to break into the White House. What are they going to do? They can just sit there and look at them and be like, okay, let me blow some wind at you.
let me open the door.
They blew
for
over.
You. I'll open the door for you.
But anyways, so Chaz Chop over in Seattle, that's been going on, as has been a lot of other protests for the past month now, since the death of George Floyd in Seattle, or not in Seattle, in Minneapolis. Wow.
Correct.
And I'll say this, I have loved the city of Seattle. I have enjoyed my many visits there.
I've only had one. It was
know.
cool.
Yeah.
But
No, there's no but there.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm just saying I have enjoyed my many visits there. I hope I get to visit again in the future. I obviously will avoid this area because there's some crazy people there.
Yeah, it's only, how many blocks is it?
Well, it started out as 6 blocks.
Yeah.
It's down to like two
Two.
now at most. But in those 6 blocks, in that amount of time, there has been some, crazy happening. So let's get started with this whole thing. So officially now they call themselves Chop.
What? I don't remember what that stands for.
That's what I was about
Chop
to
your
ask
head
you.
off.
No, that's not what it
that's
means.
not it.
So what's CH stand for?
Capitol Hill. No.
Okay.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Sick.
Okay, so Capitol Hill, you got that. So what did Chaz stand for originally?
Capitol Hill Anonymous Zone.
Did you say anonymous zone?
Yes.
I was going to say assassin zone.
No,
not.
it's
not that.
autonomous.
Autonomous. Okay.
I was like, the anonymous zone?
Anonymous.
You go in
It kind of
and
makes
you-
sense.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
Anonymous.
No.
Yeah.
That's that one.
You go in, you're completely anonymous.
No, you're not.
You're not of the government. You're not of the country. It's just like this little safe zone.
But we all know.
You walk in as, you just get what you need to come out.
It's
Yeah.
literally, it's right there.
But
Autonomous zone.
everyone still knows who each other is. You're not anonymous.
Yeah,
If you
they
were
all have to be
anonymous,
masks.
that'd be like, you were fully masked, fully make-upped,
All the
there was no
time.
way to identify you. That's anonymous. Autonomous means they are their own separate entity completely set up separate from the U.S. In fact, they had signs at the start that said, "You are now leaving the United States." So, like
They're trying.
that's what they tried, and then there was early, I guess you could say, attempts to make fun of them because there was a video of them building their gardens, at first. And essentially what it was is they had this field of grass. And so remember, in the 6 block area, there's about 600 or so people live, 500 to 600 people live. They had a field of grass smaller than what you need to feed that many people. Like these were small. And essentially what they did is they took some cardboard, laid on top of the grass, put some topsoil on top of the cardboard, and then planted their plants on top of that. Now, you do use cardboard to lay it on top of the grass to kill the grass.
Yeah.
That is a valid method.
You also can use it as a sunblock, because then over time, as cardboard gets wet, it breaks down, so it kills the grass underneath, also turning it back into topsoil.
Right. That would work if you had time.
Yeah, they had no time.
They had no time. They weren't planting seeds in there. They were or I shouldn't say, they weren't just planting seeds. They were planting seeds plus also like planting plants from like greenhouses that are already germinated. Those roots aren't going to be able to go that far down through the cardboard.
Because what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to wet down the cardboard first, so then it just breaks down a lot faster. They didn't do that, did they?
Not from the pictures they showed. It looked very dry. It looked like they literally took cardboard, put it on the ground, put some topsoil,
and then some plants.
Yep.
Hey, they tried.
But that's where they had their first controversy. What happened with their gardens?
They died.
Well, no, they didn't die. What did they do?
I don't know.
Aaron?
They burned them. No.
So okay. So Chaz and the protests like it were done because of George Floyd's death, right? And they were decrying. What was one of the things that all these protests and everything, and I'm talking the peaceful ones and the non-peaceful ones. What's the main theme that they're protesting? Yeah, your hair.
I don't know. The only thing I've seen is the Black Lives Matter stuff.
But yeah, what's their big rallying cry though?
I don't know.
What are they against?
They're against the states, man.
No, they're not against the
government. But.
No. Well, it grows from extension of some of the more extreme ones. But what's
the police?
No, even further down.
Even further down.
What's at the core of all this?
Oh, racism.
Yes.
Duh.
Racism. Good job, Aaron.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. So let me ask you this question, Aaron.
Uh-oh.
Would it be racist?
Yes.
If I put a sign out that said, "This garden is for people of color and their colored allied plants only"?
My initial reaction is yes, but
because you're white, no.
Well, no, I'm not saying, but you can do it because you're not white. White people are just racist because we're white.
We're born racist.
Well, that's what you're being told nowadays.
Yeah.
I don't believe that, but
no, same. But so my initial reaction would be yes, but for whatever reason, I'm gonna say no. That's not racist.
Well, then you could live in Chaz. Because they did exactly that. They created a plot of land in their little garden that was for people of color only. And their allied plants. I don't get what they mean by allied plants. So they had that, right?
Yeah.
The next thing, the other things that they've done that are just like, that's interesting, is they have, and this was more recent, like in the past week. And when I say past week, the week of 6/25, is a bunch of white people created a border around an area, and they said only people of color may enter the next, beyond their little border, obviously within Chaz.
But borders are a bad thing. That's also something I don't get about this.
Oh, we're getting there. Getting there.
At least supposedly they're a bad thing.
Chaz is an experiment in contradictions.
Yeah. That's what it sounds like. How many people are in part of that
Remember what I said? About 500 to 600
600
live in that
area?
like
But
6
it's a
block area.
small.
It's a small little area.
So that okay. I wasn't sure if they were like recording on how many people are like currently in there or not, but okay.
No, and obviously as that area shrinks
Yeah,
over time,
yeah, the number will go down.
or as Seattle, what did Seattle's mayor call it? Even
I don't know.
Josh,
I haven't listened to anything from Seattle.
what did Seattle's mayor call the Chaz area? And this was a couple weeks ago before the shootings.
So I've seen one video, which I've seen one video on it, but it was just so showing Chaz or Chop. I don't know which one it was.
Just call it Chaz. Don't
Okay.
worry about trying to chop it. Just call it Chaz.
And it's crazy in how much like music can add to a video.
Yeah.
Because they were showing footage of people in there, and obviously, granted, they were picking the craziest of the crazy, which I mean, it looked like there was a lot in there. But then I mean, it showed like guys walking around with like rifles and stuff like that, and I was just like, it looks pretty scary.
So we'll get to that as well.
And another thing we're gonna get to,
yeah. So okay, so Seattle's mayor, when this kind of first started happening and first was starting to be criticized, she called it the Summer of Love. Now you remember?
That's right. I didn't realize. I forgot she was the mayor.
Yeah.
Yes, the Summer of Love.
The Summer of Love that has unfortunately turned bloody and resulted in, thankfully, only one, but a death.
Yeah.
Between 4 shootings. Right, that we know of. There could be bodies buried somewhere. Maybe they use that as fertilizer for the garden.
Oh, no.
It's got to come from somewhere.
Oh, shut up.
It's either that or manure.
Oh, yeah, I'll take the manure.
You don't want human manure, but yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, they don't have cows roaming around there much.
No, they don't. This is the middle of Seattle. So it's funny that you brought up guns and music. Who is the de facto leader of Chaz?
I don't know. I don't even know that. The leader of it?
Yeah, he's kind of like the de facto leader. They call him a warlord, even
a warlord.
Yeah.
I feel like if you said don't.
Okay, so let me put it this way. On Twitter, there's this I guess you could say almost meme when a tweet blows up and becomes real popular. They go, "Here, I'm going to drop my SoundCloud link and all that," right?
Okay.
Be like, "Hey, listen," or if they don't have SoundCloud, be like, "Well, I don't have SoundCloud, but here's my cash link. Cash me some money." I'm just like, really, you're begging for money on Twitter? Whatever. But Chaz, the de facto leader of Chaz, his name is Raz
Simone.
Okay.
And he is a SoundCloud rapper.
Dude, that's sick. Raz.
That being said, he is actually kind of wealthy. So like he's estimated anywhere between 1 to 5 million in worth.
Yeah.
But
all right.
When you were talking about the guns, right? There's videos that have surfaced of Raz essentially going up to young kids in Chaz zone. Like when I say young kids, to me, young kid is like 18 to 20 in that area. That's a young kid to me. Anyways, he's going up to young kids. He opens up the trunk and says, "Do you know how to shoot a gun? Here's a gun." And gives them like a semi-automatic rifle. One, that is illegal in Washington state. Well, that's kind of illegal anywhere. You can't just like go up to someone and be like, here's a gun. Use this to patrol the street.
Okay. With that, no. And in Wisconsin, you can gift a gun.
You can gift a gun, yes. Yeah. But I can't just pull up into your backyard and give you a gun. I have to go through the same paperworks. You still have to go through paperwork. There's federal paperwork that's required.
Not in all transactions. It depends on the state. I'm not exactly aware of what Washington's rules are, but in the state of Wisconsin.
Oh, Washington, that's illegal.
Very progressive.
Right. Okay. Right. But in Wisconsin, I can give Aaron my handgun and say it's his.
Okay.
Without any proof of transaction. Some states will require you to run a background check, and other states require you to actually go through a seller, and they have to do everything for you. You can't have, but anywhere in the United States, if someone's under 18 years old They are not allowed to possess a firearm without a parent or guardian around them.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, and there's no way Raz was confirming the age of any of these people in Chaz. So Raz was going around and giving away guns, just and be like, boom, 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 here you go, have a gun, patrol, and those were some of those people you saw then patrolling the
area,
area.
or whatever. Yeah. I mean, do you think he'd give me one if I went there?
maybe, but he might not be there by the time you get there.
Yeah, well, you never know. So Raz also, so I watched Louder with Crowder, and I've renewed my mug club for the year.
Mug club.
And so this past Thursday, they sent half their team to Chaz. And
Oh no.
one of the people actually rented an Airbnb from Raz.
Oh boy.
What?
So Raz does Airbnb rentals. And the guy, the goal was from Steven was to create a new Chaz within Raz's apartment that he rented from Airbnb.
Wait, whoa, hold up. Say it again. What?
So
His goal is to what?
create a new Chaz
A new Chaz.
within the apartment they rented from
From
Airbnb
Raz.
from Raz.
There's too much.
I know.
Okay.
The guy's
All
name
right.
is unfortunate
Yeah.
that it's Raz and in Chaz and in
I don't like that.
I know, I get it. So but that was entertaining to watch. And the guy, now, to be fair, if you rent an apartment from Airbnb, you do not graffiti the place up.
They graffitied it.
They graffitied it.
Oh no.
Saying new Chaz and that. And yeah. That's not the smartest thing to do, even if you're trying to be funny. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Never destroy property. That kind of breaks what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Right.
But so that was one person, and then other people from the team were actually chased out of Chaz by people for asking questions.
Oh, for sure.
So if you are interested, it will, since it was a Thursday show, it's available on YouTube for free. So you can go watch this past Thursday's episode of Louder with Crowder. He was actually dressed as Raz from Chaz.
Oh my god. I need to watch this later. Oh no.
It was great. There's also the word jorts used a lot in that.
Shorts?
Jorts.
Jean shorts?
Yeah. Because the person being chased out, Chaz, was being chased out by people wearing jorts.
What's wrong with jorts? What is wrong with jorts?
I don't know. If they're like my aunt, then they're scary. Because she wears them like a bikini.
Nice.
She's about 62.
Nice. No, I
Jort bikini. There you go, Aaron.
It was an itsy bitsy.
You cannot be my uncle. I'm sorry.
It's a spider.
I'll be chilling in my bikini jorts. My red ruby slip. I'm sorry.
I need an artist.
This is too
I'm going to commission that as an artist.
No,
Well,
no.
I mean, you can already get him to walk outside and just as boxers. So
Not so. Well, I mean,
I'm going to go to Fiverr and find a deranged artist. That's your fault.
but I don't know. I've always wondered why jorts were such like a, I don't know, laughing stock thing. Like, I don't know.
Probably because a lot of people who wear jorts make their own, and then they're all frayed and weird and
Maybe.
lopsided and
Lopsided.
Yeah.
That's fair. All right. By the way, I'm trying to see if I can rent from Raz for Airbnb, but I don't know how to do that.
First, you need to go to Airbnb. Then you need to rent from Raz.
Ponte de Raz in France? Is that it? No, that's not it.
it's probably his cousin.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to come back into this.
Okay.
What are you talking about? No.
Poor
But-
Crowder and his team.
But yes, so yes, Jorts chased out Crowder's team from Chaz. So again, you're interested in it, go listen to it. Or watch it. It's from Thursday. They did live stream video of it as well. So you could see all the Jorts chasing them out. The Jorts chased out Quarter Black Garrett from Chaz.
quarter black, like a quarter of him was black.
Quarter.
Quarter.
Like
That
25%.
20. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes, correct.
that's his heritage, and that's his name.
Is that legitimate?
Huh?
Is it like legitimate or is that?
Yeah,
what
no,
they,
that's
oh, okay.
legitimately his heritage,
Oh, okay.
and that's legitimate. That's 100% legitimate in all things. And he's kind of like their video live. No, not videographer. He does all the live video switching and input controls and audio mixing and all that during the live streams. So that's what his job is. But in this case, he was sent. They drove from Texas to Seattle. That was a long drive.
That's
by
a
the way.
big commitment.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they left, and
Say couldn't they have just flown?
So yeah, you watch the episode. They
Yeah.
talk about that.
Oh, okay.
And they ran out of money to buy a couple people tickets, and then they decided not to fly out. And so they forgot to tell the people that were driving, and the people who were driving just continued on. And then they said, we'll still send the people driving to Chaz. And yeah.
Nice. Okay.
And since they were the newest members of the team, they had to drive. Short end of the stick.
Hey,
happens.
I love driving, so I'd have done it.
Yep.
Hit me up if you need a driver.
By the time you get there, they're gone.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, so we have the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone.
Yes.
Chaz.
Yes.
For
correct.
For Aaron's edification, Chaz. Now, the thing that I find, I don't know if I want to say interesting, entertaining, whatever. Again, they're trying to be autonomous here, right? They're saying that they're their own entity. They chased out the police from the police precinct that was there, the building that was there. By the way, did you see what they renamed the police building to?
Yes.
What?
Instead of police department, it's people's department.
Right. Josh is just shaking his head. He has no comment, apparently. Why not?
It's the people's place, man.
Well,
Yeah.
see, there.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
I do not want to rant.
Here it comes.
I will not rant.
You will.
I shall not.
You will.
I will not.
Do it.
For therefore it is a sin.
Oh my gosh.
No, I mean, I understand the
Here we
idea
go.
of trying to get rid of police, but
Do you now?
I
That
do.
really
and-
shocks me.
oh, hang on. Let's face it, nobody wants to get caught doing something, right? And people who have been abused by a higher authority will dislike the higher authority. Period. You can't. So, I mean, if your dad beats you, it's. I mean, not like spank you. I mean, I've been
No.
spanked. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure you've been spanked. Maybe he stopped at age 5, but no. I mean, abuse of authority, abuse of power. You generally speaking, you're going to have an attitude towards that person who doesn't. So I get where they want to defund it and stuff, but the higher authority is also partly why we have not as much crime as other places. Do we still have crime? Yes. But think about it. If we had nobody that had the right to walk into your house with a warrant and arrest you, how would you do with that? I mean, you get rid of police, we might as well go back to town lynchings, where you were you'd be put on a platform in the middle of the town and everybody'd be cheering, or you get burned at the stake in the middle of the town. I mean, that's pretty much what life was like before there was any sort of judge, any sort of higher authority that could come in and do that. It was left up to the town. So I understand why people would want to defund the police and get rid of the police, but realistically, once problems start to arise, it becomes chaos.
So there's not going to be any, no one to come and stop a fight.
Yeah.
It's just going to have to work itself out.
And now you have the community stuff, but now let's look at it like this. Okay. If the police are there, they help write up the reports. They help filter you into the judicial way of things so that they can start prosecuting and stuff like that.
Okay.
So let's say somebody gets murdered. You got nobody helping to make sure the DNA or the weapon, or you don't have anybody with the expertise in a sense trying to help make sure that gets taken care of, because nobody's getting paid to do it.
Right.
Now, obviously, the town can come together and stop something from happening, or pull a fight apart, or stop somebody from getting raped. But once those severe crimes happen, you have just lost the disconnect to all your available. Because to my knowledge, now, Paul, you might have a little bit more, knowledge on this because of who you work for, but DNA samples, are they necessarily processed there, or do they usually get shipped across the country to a processing facility on the other side?
I do not know that one. None of my jobs have ever dealt with that.
I didn't know if you knew through people since you
No.
were working at.
I know some. I know in some places it may be shipped off to a lab to process. Some departments may be big enough to be able to handle it on site themselves. So it really depends on the department.
Now, there's the department. Chaz has completely just disconnected itself from all the other police departments and police precincts in Seattle, correct? So,
No, not only that, they wanted to try, at least at first, they have failed, obviously, by this point in time. They wanted to disconnect themselves from the entire United States and essentially become their own, as they called it originally, autonomous zone, their own little country. As the news headlines from like CNN and that said, welcome our newest country in the world. Part of me wonders if they're being slightly facetious, but they weren't trying to be their own separate police department. They wanted to be completely 100% on their own, separate, their own little state within, sort of like the Vatican within Rome. Or Italy.
So then even with that, going beyond that point, how are they going to sit there and be able to prosecute people effectively, efficiently? Now, granted, if it's only a community of 600 people, everybody's pretty close, but you're still going to have crime that happens. So how do you take care of that? And who is the one that is allowed to judge whether or not certain punishments are to be dealt a certain way, and what is that limit to punishment? I think as the United States, we've taken for granted, as corrupt as it can be, we've taken for granted the fact that people are given the power to punish those who should be punished. Because I'm pretty sure if any of us had a glimpse back in time to before this, and how, like I was saying, people were burned at the stake, people were shot by soldiers in the street, because they used to just be soldiers that would walk the streets. If they found somebody, or they could frame somebody just to have fun, just to kill them, or just to throw them in a jail cell. We really do take for granted for that. Now, granted, obviously, my opinion would be slightly different if I ended up in jail or prison. I'd probably have a little bit more of a saltier taste in my mouth, just because, if I did get caught doing something I shouldn't do, or if I got framed.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think as much as I understand where people are coming from when it comes to defund the police, we can't take it drastically. We have to slowly deal with it, because there is so much that the public does not understand.
Except for the fact that those who are calling for, like, look at what's happening in Minneapolis, isn't that right?
Mm-hmm.
You hear the cries of defund the police and all that, right? And I've seen this go across Facebook a lot, where people go, defund the police does not mean get rid of the police. It means, reduce their funding, blah, 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 blah. But then you listen to the people who started this over in Minneapolis. This defund the police, they have said, we don't want to say, just cut part of their budget. They're like, we want their budget to be zero. We want no police in our neighborhoods. And then their next demand, they want to demolish the court system. They don't want the courts anymore. You look at the demands that Chaz has placed out there. They also have the defund the police. They also want the abolishment of the court system. They also want people released for certain crimes because they don't believe that they should be held for any reason. That's part of this whole Chaz protest. So, to say, when people say, oh, defund the police means only cut part of their budget, that's what we really want. They're being disingenuous. Because you look at the people who started this and founded this movement, this cry for defund the police, the people in Minneapolis, they want zero police. They booed out their own mayor when he said he would not stand behind defunding the police. And now what's entertaining is that these same people who are saying we need to get rid of the police because they cause violence, they kill people and that, right? They're now spending $6,000+ a day for those council members to have their own personal security force to protect them.
Yep.
So you got all that going on, and it's just like, now, and then you have Chaz, so they haven't allowed police or fire or anything like that in there recently, right? And Seattle's police chief, Carmen Best, told reporters that her officers are unable to respond to emergency calls inside of Chaz, including rape, robbery, and other violent acts that have occurred in the area. Chaz isn't patrolling and policing their own. They're not doing that. These people are being injured. In fact, it has gone to such an extent that 50 plus businesses and residents have sued the city of Seattle for allowing Chaz to occur and not dismantling it. And they are citing the damage done to the businesses. Let's look at our recent history here. We just had, or not shouldn't say just had, we still are in the midst of this wonderful pandemic, this COVID, right? These businesses are just now opening back up. And then as soon as they're opening back up, they're immediately essentially cut off from the rest of the world through Chaz.
Yep.
And Seattle just sits there and goes, da, da, da. This is a summer of love. La, 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 la. Completely oblivious to what's going on. And then violence continues to occur within, even though people are patrolling with guns. You have 4 shootings, at least, that we know of. 1 person dead. And then when those shootings occur, there's a video of this out there of Raz, and he's like yelling at the first responders, like the ambulance drivers, like, why aren't you going in to here? We'll guarantee your safety. Go in and get these people. Go in. And they're like, no, we got to wait for the police. You got to let the police in. And we're not going in until you let the police in. And they're like, nope, we're not going to let the police in. So you know how that person got to the hospital?
They didn't.
No, they didn't. How'd they get to the hospital?
The people from
Chaz drove out of Chaz and drove them to the hospital.
Yeah.
So ultimately, when it comes down to it,
they'll leave
when they need it. They'll go and grab stuff
because they're not.
So I'm going to ask both of you this, because Chaz has a donations list of what they need. I'm going to ask each of you to guess what is on that list. Just guess 3 things.
Toilet paper.
Okay, that's one thing.
That was kind of. I don't know if that was legit.
Let's go Aaron first.
Soda.
Well, let's go Aaron first.
Okay.
3 things.
So I mean, I would guess. Do I have to be specific with medical supplies?
No.
Okay. So I would say medical.
Okay. Well, no.
Go me first.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, they're gonna. If need be, I mean, they'd run out of ammo at some point. So I would imagine, like guns and ammunition.
Okay. You never know how much Raz has. He's a SoundCloud rapper.
True.
You might have like a whole warehouse
could have
full.
a
I mean, if
warehouse
he's driving
full of it.
around, opening up his trunk and giving it to people, I'm pretty sure he's got a lot.
But anyways,
or he's got his connections to it.
you never know.
Goodness, why is this so hard now that I'm thinking about it? They're gonna need food.
Okay.
Groceries, because their stores aren't gonna have whatever. I don't know what is all in their 2-block whatever radius.
Yeah, their lovely little protest zone. Okay, Josh, you've had time to think, so you get to go faster.
Yay.
They're gonna need electricity,
Okay.
food, and water.
Okay, I'll give you both food. They want fresh fruits and vegetables.
Fresh fruits and veggies.
Yep. And snacks.
Like fruit snacks?
No, it just says
Specifically?
snacks.
Oh.
They want solar generators, so electricity.
Mm-hmm.
They want energy drinks. They want paint, encrypted walkie-talkies, tents, sleeping bags, showers. For their garden, they need sandbags so people can put up teepees. And they need pots.
Pots and pans.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and wooden plant tags, not plastic.
Wait, what?
Wooden plant tags. And
Because plastic is dangerous.
oh, and they need ratcheting straps. They don't say anything about Velcro.
Well, if you guys knew what you really needed for yourselves, you'd get some Velcro. Just saying.
No, for plants it makes sense if they want ratcheting straps.
Not
No,
gonna
they
lie.
need Velcro.
If I lived in
Speed
there,
wrap. I'm sorry. You need speed wrap.
If you lived in there, what?
if I lived in there, I don't know, man.
I'd get out.
Well, I mean, yeah, but how do you get out?
Well,
Sayonara.
what do you mean? How do you get out? As in, if you're a company there, or if you're
I mean, you start packing up stuff in the moving van. How do you know you're not going to get robbed? How do you know your van's not going to get taken?
you better hope that the Chaz patrollers
Do something.
that they protect you and that Raz has your back.
That's the best option.
I actually kind of want to know how many of the guys in there have more than one magazine, because I have a feeling a lot of guys are walking around with like a magazine in their pocket and then a magazine in the gun, and that's it.
Yeah, you never know.
I don't know. Let's send you in there.
Let's go check it out. I'll take
I'm
off
down.
work.
Me too.
Wait, what?
I'll take off too. I just got 2 additional days.
Oh,
All right, we're gonna send Josh on the ground there, and he's gonna dodge as many bullets as he can.
just looking at like
Looking at what?
photos and seeing like, a couple of photos of the area. I wouldn't want to go there.
Why not?
It's just full of graffiti and I like nice, clean, cleansely, nice and tidy.
Did you just say cleansely?
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you say that
I
again?
did say cleansely. Cleanliness.
Just stop.
No.
Just stop.
No, I am a Malibu orange juice, and I'm gone.
So when
Not really.
yeah, so I remember the original like comparisons of this. Again, back to the Seattle mayor. She's like, "Oh, this is like a street fair." You don't see a street fair that has literally taken over blocks, caused damage, caused violence, caused all these issues for weeks on end. Now, don't get me wrong. I have nothing against them wanting to bring attention to racism. But the methodology on which you're doing it like this, I have an issue with, regardless of whatever. Like I'm looking at this picture. It says abolish SPD, which would be Seattle Police Department. Again, they're not asking for defunding. They're asking for get rid of it completely.
No more of it.
Which just drives me nuts. It really does. The fact that it's really given, to be honest, almost this glorified view from everyone who covers it. They're like, look at what these brave people have been doing over in Seattle. Look at what they're doing. They're standing up and they're taking back the land for what they want. I was like, no, you're allowing them to be lawless.
Mm-hmm. No, I wonder.
What?
I don't know. It's like, are there any? Well, I'm sure there would be. Hopefully, I don't know, but like any like legitimate people that would go about this the right way. But then it's like we always see the worst parts of it, especially on the media, at least.
Right. So I was reading a study, and essentially what they said is they show, and sounds weird, but peaceful protests, right, give a boost to the Democratic Party. Violent protests tend to give a boost to the Republican Party. It's just interesting that it's like that people's mindsets are like that. So I just found that interesting, by the way. But that's what I was looking at. But yeah, so I pulled up the list of the Chaz demands. And Chaz has 30 demands that they have for the city of Seattle. And here's where I say Chaz is a study in contradictions. Okay. What's one of the first things they did for Chaz? What did they erect around Chaz? Barricades.
Oh yeah, the walls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they had to separate themselves.
Right. Funny. Walls work. What has been one of the biggest things that people have been like, Trump wants to build a wall, but walls don't work. Walls work.
Right. Well, walls are supposed to. Well, what are they saying that? I don't know. From his standpoint too, is he was just being racist about it.
Yeah, I know. But because they say walls are racist.
Yeah. Well,
here we go.
It's a racist community.
So you know what one of their demands is? Again, just a study in contradictions. They demand the use of armed force be banned entirely. No guns, no batons, no riot shields.
That doesn't.
As they carry guns around.
You guys are walking around with them.
It's a double standard. That's all it is.
That's why I said it's a study in contradictions.
Yeah. What? No, because you said Chicago and New York, we're looking at doing something.
Well, New York has one. Chicago, they're tried,
in
and
process.
Chicago, they tried. I don't think it worked too well. And Washington, D.C., obviously, they tried, and
that did not.
Kind of didn't work.
No, yeah. Now, what was there talk about Washington, D.C. being its own state?
Yes.
Yeah, that's completely separate from this, but
Yeah. Okay.
That's been a long-standing issue that's probably going to finally get passed. So,
well, it got past the House.
I just got to get past the Senate.
Yeah, which it's going to be struck down in the Senate.
Supposedly it was some Antifa people who were chasing down a guy. I don't know, but then he had concealed carry and he ended up getting a chance to shoot and shot one guy down. But I don't think that was in any of these places. At least I don't think. I mean, I would imagine it would have hit the news had that been in Chaz or But it's just, I don't know. It's scary. There's so much like chaos going on now. Apparently something is starting up in Kenosha. Not like to this level or anything, but I don't know. It sounds like something's going on in Kenosha from what somebody was saying. I don't like any of this.
So I'm watching.
None of this is going to work. It's just going to be problems.
Hey, go back to what you guys were saying before. I'm just watching somebody kind of do something on the Chaz, and this is like a tweet or something that's saying we should require Chop police to wear body cams and use de-escalation techniques instead of punching people.
De-escalation
techniques instead of punching people. That literally sounds what everybody's been trying to get the United States police departments to do for years, and what they do. So they are literally doing nothing. They just want control.
So, that you might have found that tweet, but they're official demands they gave to the governor or the mayor of Seattle. Demand number 1: the Seattle Police Department and attached court system are beyond reform. We do not request reform. We demand abolition. They want it completely gone.
Mm-hmm.
Gone. 100%. They don't want police at all. They want Razes to be able to patrol the neighborhood and outfit their people the way they see fit.
I say, let's give it to them.
No.
I say the U.S. should find some spot and say, anybody who wants to live in a lawless community, move here. We build a wall around. If they need supplies, they have to do it like any other country. We'll see how long they last.
It wouldn't last.
Exactly. But apparently people are not wise enough to take someone else's advice. They have to experience it for themselves.
And really I
get that.
This comes back to, the whole thing of, when Aaron was a kid, he was told he was special. He's a special little kid. He's a special little boy.
He is special.
Raz was told he's special, probably. All these Seattleites, or how did I heard them called Chazistanians.
That's a name. Chazistanians.
Yeah, the Chazistans. They're special little snowflakes. Seattle is a very left-leaning, progressive town. They believe in all these ideological fairy tales that, and they worship at the feet of progressivism. And that's where they live, and so you hardly have any vocal dissent in that area, because as soon as you have any vocal dissent, it's shouted down immediately. Because how dare you speak out against what the Chaz is doing? Raz demands your Chaz loyalty. It's probably not all Raz. There's probably like a council of Razians inside of Chaz. It's the Chazistani Council of Raz.
Gosh.
Try saying that 5 times fast.
Nope.
Okay.
I can't say it once now.
So, I mean, they have
Chazrak.
Nice.
They have, all these. If you ever get a chance, there's on medium.com by the user Seattle BLMANON3. And it's an article entitled "The Demands of the Collective Black Voices at Free Capitol Hill to the Government of Seattle, Washington." It was published on June 9th. Take a look at that, and you can read all 30 demands that they have, including reparations for police brutality, Anti-bias training becoming required, which, okay, whatever. But it's, again, starts off with the destruction, the removal completely of the police system and court system. Oh, they also demand a retrial of all people, like say people in color. I think they meant to say people of color, but they said people in color.
In color.
I think they meant to say people of color, but they demand a retrial of all people of color currently serving a prison sentence.
Now, I and this one phrase I've never understood is when we say people of color.
Yeah, what about it?
So then, is Aaron not color? Because
No.
Aaron is a color. Aaron is white.
That's not a color.
What? Okay. Which one is which? Because I always hear it and I always forget. Because it's for like white and black. One is supposedly all colors and one is the absence of color.
White is all.
Black is absence of.
So let's write that in
Yeah.
there. We just said that white's a color.
White is all colors.
White is white. And it's in the context, you can't think of it in the context of scientific.
You can't think of it logically. Just spit it out. You can't think of it
No,
logically.
you can't think of it in the context of scientific, what is white and what is not white.
Right.
In this case, it's like, think of it as vanilla white. You know, you have vanilla white frosting. It's
You have
just
chocolate
it's just white
frosting.
frosting. But if you have maybe like a almond frosting, it has a little bit of a
tint to it.
little
I
tint.
see.
It's colored.
No.
Or you could be you could be a
black.
black white supremacist.
Makes no sense.
So Daryl Davis, jazz musician, he is famous not only for his jazz but also for converting KKK members away from the KKK. He was at an event in New Jersey a year or two ago, and he was protested by Antifa. In fact, Antifa threatened to burn down the theater that he was in, saying he was racist. And they called him a white supremacist, even though he's African American.
Anyways,
There's no logical sense behind it. And we'll get into that in a different episode. But essentially what it is it's a religious zealotry where if you don't live by their religious code, they shut you down, call you the opposite of what they are, and you have sinned. But it's a non-theistic religion. You can call it a theistic religion where it's humanity is theist. This is the God. But yeah.
you know, people who agree with this stuff, I want to know how they get up and they look at themselves in the mirror in the morning.
They hate themselves if they're white.
How do you get up in the morning and look at yourself in the mirror?
I pray that God takes me before someone else on this earth does.
Well, you'll see if that happens.
Yeah. I mean, but in all honesty, you know, you have, we'll get into this in the later episode, but you see videos of people chanting with a leader, repenting of their whiteness, repenting of their racism, even if they haven't done anything racist. But just because of the fact that they're white, they have to repent of their racism. You have videos of people kneeling in front of black people saying, "I'm sorry for my racism." You have the phrase, "Silence is violence, silence is complicity, silence is racism." You have now company training saying, if you don't speak up and you don't protest against racism, you are racist. You have this new direction that this is going. Chaz is only the beginning. It is only the first indication of where the craziness is going. We thought Chaz was going to be like this little blip on the radar. We're not going to have that, unfortunately. At some point, actually, we'll talk about that next episode. Essentially, Oregon and California are very much going to become Chazian.
So see, here's what we do. Here's what we do.
I've never
We
thought of
make
that.
Washington, D.C. the 51st state, and then we annex California. We don't have to do anything to the flag. That's it. Figured it out.
You do realize Washington, D.C. is a very same politically as California.
So I understand that.
Okay.
But that's because all of those guys work there.
Yeah, but I mean,
They're not going to get rid of California.
even the people living there are the same politically, essentially, as California.
Yeah, but California needs to go.
Well, here's the thing. Here's this, like I said, Chaz and this is very much just the beginning.
Maybe I should move down to Texas. Because if Texas annexes itself, it's probably one of the best states out there.
Here's the thing. I've been talking to some people from Texas. There's a bunch of
Ooh.
people moving there from California and bringing their politics with.
No.
Good luck.
Hmm?
Actually, they've been flipping counties blue.
What?
Yep.
What's wrong with this world?
Wait. Oh yeah. Never mind.
They haven't flipped the whole state. I'm not saying
No.
they flipped the whole state, but individual counties within
Yeah.
the realm of Texas are being flipped.
Yeah. It's not surprising.
No, it's not, especially as Californians leave and head down there. Now, you're going to have, there's a company in Seattle. They had been playing this for a while. They announced the company internally in January, but they announced it publicly that because of this whole Chazian thing, they're speeding up their timeline to move down to Texas. So they're going to be taking a bunch of Seattleites with them.
Whoa.
You have Minneapolis, where George Floyd was killed. There's a business up there. Their building got damaged. They're not going to rebuild in Minneapolis. They're going to rebuild down Texas. So you have companies and people leaving these very bluish areas, coming down and making Texas more purple. So yeah, you're going to see that flip eventually at some point. But like I said, Chaz is just the beginning. It's, if you think about it like Josh's favorite movie, The Titanic, this is that top of the iceberg that we see. Chaz is that.
See, what I love is
about Titanic.
No.
Your heart will go on.
Not gonna lie, I actually tried to. I wanted to stand at the bow of the boat and like lean over, but I couldn't. So the closest I could get is the top deck. But let me tell you, the wind hits you hard when you're at the front.
Oh, I bet.
The ship at the top deck. It's especially at night. Woo-wee.
Yeah.
Anyways, what were you about to say?
You started that one. I love how like my brain hurts. Like, is my IQ that high? Because I don't think it's really that high.
No, it's not.
So this is where it's like, no offense, but is everybody else's IQ just that darn low? What was it? Well, I was sitting in my living room probably a year or two ago, and no, it was probably during the
okay, you were sitting in the living room at some point in time in the past.
Okay. And it was a liberal ad. I don't know. It was some political race. And the liberal ad came on and said that conservatives are too progressive. And I'm like, what? Like, that makes no sense. That made absolutely no sense. We don't try to push the envelope to the point of breaking it every single time we send a piece of mail out. But anyways, it's just, what don't the American people understand? This is where I get confused. Okay, how do you solve an issue? Rattlesnake. You're in the desert. A rattlesnake comes. What do? You have a knife. You got a machete. You got some reach.
Machete.
Okay, how do you kill a snake? You chop the head off, and you don't touch the head because the head's still venomous. What does America do? Let's chop off the rattler so we can keep chopping more. So they chop off the rattler on the end of the rattlesnake. Well, it's still there. It's still biting up. Let's chop a little bit more off the tail. Let's chop a little. Oh, nope, we're dead. All right, now we got to try something new. I just don't get it. It's just like, it's like you're trying to go to the 25th floor at a hotel and the 25th floor button isn't working. And you just keep going up floor by floor, each one. You keep pressing each one individually because you can't get 25 to work. It's just a mentality. And you watch it all the time. The news just like eggs it on. People in the media, I don't know if they're just that desperate for attention or if they're that desperate for recognition or what. But it's like people in the spotlight just allow other people to believe that this is the right mindset. Let's keep pushing. Let's keep going farther. Let's keep trying to. I don't get it.
So there's a conspiracy theory about this. And I say it's a conspiracy theory because I don't believe it and I haven't seen evidence of this. Part of the conspiracy theory is that the mayors and the governors and all that are letting things like Chop happen, all in a bid to have normal people kind of say, well, look what Trump's not doing, as in there, he's not sending in federal to handle local issues, and in a bid to bolster Biden's numbers. I've heard that so many times, and it's just, I hope it's not true. I haven't seen any evidence it is, but If it is, well played, Joe Biden. Well played.
Well, I mean, at the same time, too, not gonna lie. I mean, you don't even have to do that. You don't have to set up a committee that goes around and contacts all the mayors and governors and stuff to initiate that. That's just something that's kind of no brainer. You sit there and the state can sit there and point the finger at the feds, but the feds go, "Well, you wouldn't want us in there last week. Why do you want us in there this week?"
Apparently, Josh believes in this conspiracy theory.
I'm not saying I believe in it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was true, just because that is just something politically speaking that you can initiate without actually having to create this group. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So, like I said, I don't believe in it, but I wouldn't be surprised. It's politics in 2020. Nothing makes sense, but yet everything makes sense. It's stupid. But no, and that's the other thing a lot of people forget about is there are boundaries, and the Fed has allowed the state to have power.
No, not this Fed has allowed the state. The Constitution grants the state power where the it's not explicitly declared for the Fed to have. So not the Fed allowed, the Constitution granted.
Oh, with how versatile this society is, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody was sitting there trying to rip up the Constitution right now. But anyways, but yes, that's the proper way to phrase it. Yes. So there is a distinct boundary. There is a distinct line between the powers of the Fed and the powers of the state. And the Fed can only get involved with the state's request on certain things.
Right.
So when people sit there and go, "Oh no, they didn't send in the National Guard," it's well, no, that is a state thing. And if the Army comes in, that's the state calling the Feds in.
Right.
It's completely two different things. So
Yep.
everything that is happening in your state, people, right now is completely up to your mayor and governor.
And see, the thing is, and I know this because my mom, for example, she had no concept of any of these things until Chaz, Chop started really happening. And then she kind of paid attention a little bit more. And it's like, oh, well, why couldn't they do this? Because limits. Why couldn't they do this? Because the Constitution. Why couldn't they do this? Because there's a proper way that this happens. And then when she started reading in on it on her own and started seeing that there were actually limits, she's like, I would have blamed Trump on this, but it's not his fault. You know, and this is from a woman who, when she was a teenager, was considering going into politics as and she helped local Democrats run their campaigns. You know, so to see that someone who used to be so plugged in with politics in their younger age still not understand the whole concept of, you know, who can do what, when, and on what level.
It's kind of scary.
Right. And then you have people who, like Aaron, have really no context, no understanding, no plug into the historical context of things, the political process. I guarantee you, and this isn't a dig on Aaron, but I guarantee you, Aaron, and correct me if I'm wrong here, okay?
No, I won't. Well, I mean, I will if it would, but yeah.
You probably had no idea that the federal government couldn't just come in and say, we're going to clean up Chaz, unless the governor and that asked for it.
Yeah, probably not. What? Now, granted, what's the whole thing with, well, wait a minute, martial law type stuff.
That's a whole
different thing.
Yeah, that's
like that would take over anything if that was declared. And
yeah, if martial law was declared,
it's a different story. That's yeah. Like now, for example, when the governor of Wisconsin declared an extended stay-at-home order, and the Republicans came in and said, that is outside your branch of power. They were correct on that. But now if the judicial branch said, let's do this, then it would have been a different story.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm sorry, legislative.
Yeah.
So, but that's just an example.
Yeah. So there is limits on what people can do, when and how and where.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize that, you know. And so when they're like, oh, just send in
the big guns,
send in the troops to clear out Chad. And to be fair, okay, this is a criticism, you know, where Trump is a little bombastic and he's like, oh, I'll send in tanks or whatever, and we'll just clear out Chaz, blah, blah, blah. No, he can't do that. And I'm glad someone reeled him in on some of his bombasticism. He needs to be reeled in and realize that you can't just do what you want just because you have the title president behind you.
Right.
Regardless of the fact. And Biden needs to be realize that too, as we'll talk about in another episode about other things. But just because you have this protest block area, Chaz, Chop, whatever you want to call it, doesn't mean you can do whatever. There has to be some restrictions, which the Constitution covers, which is I'm glad for that. Because otherwise you would have, to be fair, someone like Trump just be like, I don't like that city. Send in the troops.
Bye-bye.
It'd probably be more about, let's push this button.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, that'd be Josh in the White House.
Ooh, what is this shiny red
Do
button?
not vote for him, ever.
Yeah, do not vote for Josh Brewer if you ever see him on the ballot. That's the end of the world right there. I think that's spoken of in Revelation somewhere. I'm going to declare this a Josh free zone. I'm going to set my barricades.
Let's build the wall. We got stuff. We got material.
We are going to build a wall and make this a Josh free zone. What can we call our new nation, Aaron?
I'll just call it Polynesia.
Yeah, but somehow we have to have it like Josh free zone in there somehow.
You're right, though. Ooh. Well, I don't know. You can't come up with your own name. No,
you can't.
It's not fair. I don't know.
Hash.
This isn't a way of us saying this is Josh's last episode right now.
Yeah.
We're not doing that.
And from now on, you'll never hear him again.
There it is.
And from now on, Josh's channel is muted. But yeah, Chaz, like I said, I honestly think is just the tip of the iceberg. Now, some people, like Tim Pool, think this is the tip of the iceberg to a boogaloo. I don't think it's gonna get that far.
Boogaloo.
Do you not know what boogaloo means?
I've heard that, but I guess I don't know what it is.
Okay, so boogaloo in current culture context right now, boogaloo is referencing like a Civil War II.
Oh, okay.
So that's what that's referencing. So Tim Pool is thinking that maybe this is the tip of the iceberg that's going to lead to a boogaloo. I'm not going to go that far. I don't think it's that
drastic.
Yeah, yet. I reserve the right to say I was wrong, and that could always change. And I hope I'm
not wrong.
I hope I'm right. I hope Tim is wrong, But that being said, I do respect Tim's opinions because of the fact that he has spent a lot of the time in the hacker space, specifically in learning how to hack people and specifically understanding how people react and interact and everything. And he's pretty good at it. I will give him that. He's a master manipulator. But at the same time, he's also a master of being able to read a situation and understand the larger context of under which things are working. And the guy's a little computer. And I hope that's not racist because he's like half Asian.
Well,
half Korean, actually.
It is now.
Half like South Korean, I believe. Yeah, I believe it's South Korean. Well, that's okay. He calls himself a rooftop Korean. So you know what that's in reference to, right? It's like Koreans that would be on a roof with guns, like defending places.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
so yeah, I like I said, I respect Tim Pool and his opinions. He would actually be a fun guy to hang out with, but the guy works like crazy hours because he does like 4 to 6 half-hour YouTube videos a day. And then he does like a 4-hour live stream every night. The guy never takes a day off. Like, it's just ridiculous. But if you're interested in political stuff, go watch Tim Pool. He has some great stuff. And he's interesting because he is definitely a very intelligent guy. And I have watched him go from this lefty progressive guy, just Like every day, a little more
Really?
to the right. Just a little bit more. He recently flipped on the Second Amendment, and he now went out and bought like multiple firearms.
Nice.
He went from going, I will never have a gun in the house, to I just purchased like 6 firearms.
I want to do that.
And Crowder gifted him a rifle. I forget what type of rifle. Yeah. So it was crazy, it was like a thing between Crowder and the manufacturer of the rifle. Like they figured out a way to get him one. And
wow.
Since it's going across state lines, it has to go through the ATF and all that fun jazz. A lot of paperwork.
Yeah.
A lot of paperwork. And New Jersey in and of itself has a ton of paperwork.
New Jersey.
Because that's where Poole lives currently. He's planning on moving to the Midwest or West areas.
Dude, come check out Racine, Wisconsin.
No, he wants to be like country. He doesn't want any cities.
He
hates cities.
Come check out Union Grove. Nah, it's still city.
Yeah, no. But so, like I said,
check out Wisconsin.
Like I said, I don't think he'll check out Wisconsin because he's him and the guy that'd be coming with him, Adam, and then Adam's wife, and then one other person. They're like all big skateboarders.
Nice.
So they're
weird. We have
they're okay though. They're weird.
A skateboard park in Racine.
Yeah, in Racine. Maybe it'll be part of the Racine Autonomous Zone. So you know how committed the people. Okay, so Chaz, Chop was supposed to go away this past week. Like the mayor said, they're going to get rid of it.
Yeah,
it's still up.
Yeah, it's still going.
You know why it's still up?
Because they're trying to do it without police.
No.
Well, no. What did the protesters do today?
Today, I
saw a guy laying down in front of a bulldozer.
Yes.
That's what that was about?
Yep. So they're bringing in bulldozers to remove like the concrete barriers and all that.
And they're just laying down.
And they're laying down the street. They are willing to put their body on the line.
We'll see.
For the thing that they're protesting for. So I will give them credit for that they are willing
dedication.
To.
Are they really though?
Yeah.
Because technically, if you get hit with that shovel on one of those bulldozers and you have any sort of scathing from it, that person who was operating the bulldozer could get sued for attempted homicide. Because that is technically a vehicle, and you are technically using deadly force with that vehicle.
Who's going to arrest them, Raz? They're in an autonomous zone.
Well, no, what I'm saying is these protesters can go outside.
I know, but they're saying you're leaving the United States. They're their own country. Who's going to arrest them? Raz and his band of thugs?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Okay. And what are they going to do? Put them on trial?
No.
Probably.
Wait. They're going to put them on trial, but they want the court system removed.
Yep.
Again, study in contradictions.
Mm-hmm. Makes no sense.
Can we call it sick?
But no, but technically, the guy operating the bulldozer could get charged from somebody outside of Chaz because he's still technically on Seattle territory, even though these people are declaring it not. So if you take the idea of Chaz away, he can still technically get prosecuted. So obviously, any person operating a bulldozer wouldn't want to unless
Josh is going to create his own Raz.
No. What? Why are you so willing to do it to me?
I'm not going to create my own.
We're going to tell Amy that you're creating your own autonomous zone within Racine. That you're taking over.
Scout will be in control.
Yeah. Scout will be the mayor. He will be he'll be the president of Raz. But
I like it.
So, going back to this whole thing about suing and all that fun jazz.
Chaz and Raz.
Yeah, exactly. Jazz and Chaz with Raz.
I want to see that.
But so these companies that are suing Seattle for not getting involved to stop the protesting.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that lawsuit should be thrown out of court.
Wait, what?
Should
be thrown out of court.
Yeah. And here's why. Because their opening paragraph of the lawsuit, they said, we stand with the protesters.
Sorry. Yeah.
You can't stand with the protesters and then sue because the government didn't stop the protesters.
Yeah, that's
So I'm like, you can't have it both ways. You have to pick a side to stand on. You're either
But we have-
standing with or you're
No.
standing against.
no. We can support both.
So you're going to be lukewarm so that you're spit out of the mouth of God.
Yeah, that's what that would be.
So like I said, these protesters are at least willing to say, this is where we're at. This is what we're doing. We're willing to put our bodies on the line. We're willing to do these things. They're, for lack of better terminology, they're hot. Okay. These businesses are lukewarm, saying, well, we support the protest, but
They're hurting our business.
Seattle, come in and stop them. Please, you were supposed to do this. And then the Seattle mayor is cold because, well, it's a summer of love. It's going to be a street festival like no other.
Yeah, because it's not a street festival.
Again, like I said, I understand that they want to address the issue of racism, which is being addressed at a national level, where you like it or not. It is being a topic of conversation.
This is like a worldwide thing.
I know, but it's a topic of conversation. It's out there, So I understand that part. I like I said, I still don't agree with how they went about doing it by saying we're going to take over this segment of land and make it our own. We're going to take over this land because they took over like a park system as well in the middle of the Chaz as well. It's crazy what we allow people to get away with in the name of protesting.
And this is definitely the worst I've ever seen it.
Well,
I mean,
it's going to get worse.
I wonder how many people know about the story of Jonestown. Do you know about the story? Jonestown? Jim Jones? Do you, Paul?
Yes.
So pretty much, just to fill you in, 1950s, Jim Jones was a preacher, and he ended up creating a...
Never mind.
You're familiar? A cult.
Yeah.
And
I just don't know that name, I guess.
Towards the end, as history has looked back into the documentaries, he was very good at manipulating the people. And anyways, he ended up taking them to a village, and I'm for people that are listening. And he ended up, I can't remember exactly why he did this or what came to it be. I don't know if was it the feds were getting involved or something, and they were trying to bring him back to the state for crimes or something. But he ended up cyanide poisoning over 900 people in his cult. They killed him.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they all wanted to be in freedom. They all wanted to have their own way of life, and they all died.
What are you thinking?
I don't know. I don't like that face.
I do.
There's a difference between Jonestown
and
Chaz.
Yes.
Chop. The difference being, like the Pilgrims coming to America, like Jonestown, they went and found essentially. I'm not saying America was uninhabited, but it was pretty wide open. It wasn't like they went into a town and took it over.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Jonestown. They found an area
and declared it,
and they made their own settlement.
Mm-hmm.
With the Chaz Chop, they took over an established area. They took over part of a town which had already been set up. If you want to really think about it in this way, they did what people on the left hate. They went and colonized an already populated region of the world with Chaz. They went and became the Spaniards taking over Mexico. They went and they removed essentially the people who lived there originally and forced them to convert to the religion of Chaz and live under the Chazian rule.
You said what the people on the left hate?
They hate the idea of Christopher Columbus coming and inhabiting and occupying the land. They hate the idea of the Pilgrims coming to America and occupying the United States. They hate the idea of the conquistadors going down and conquering the various areas like Mexico and that. They hate this idea of colonization. And yet they did the same exact thing with Chaz. They didn't go and try to develop their own little community in an area that maybe was like a green field that they bought. They didn't try to establish like a communal living space. People do that all over, and that's fine. You can do that. What you can't do is attempt to take over previously established areas. They're not the ones who paid. Well, okay, because they pay taxes, they are the ones who paid, but they're not the ones who primarily paid for things like sewer, water, electricity, internet to be run, the infrastructure of the roads, the buildings. They just decided we are angry and we feel sad and we feel protest, like we need to protest. So therefore, we're going to set up barricades and say, this is now our land. But yet, when they look back at history, when no matter who those people were, Spaniards, Italians, whatever, who then go and, because you hear this all the time, well, the white man came to America and pushed the already inhabitants out of the Indians who already inhabited the area out, and that's evil, and they should feel bad. Yeah, they're doing the same exact thing, just on a more micro scale. Again, Chaz is a study in contradictions. Ones that they don't care about when it's something that they want to do. When it seems politically expedient that they get to take over this piece of land for their purpose, whatever that may be, they're fine with it. But how dare you even decide to speak out against it? So, that being said, is there any closing words from either of you?
Well,
Yes?
at the beginning, I kind of figured like Chaz was, well, the whole like start of protesting stuff was the tip of the iceberg. And then Chaz was like more of the rough spot.
Mm-hmm.
But now, yeah, I definitely do see that as Chaz or Chop, whatever, being the tip of the iceberg now.
Mhm.
And what's to come is going to be much worse. I'm not looking forward to it.
I guess the fearful part is to see, because all you can really see is how Chaz operates on a much larger scale. But I think the worst to come is going to be the collapsing of the next Chaz on a larger scale. Because it's still up. So we're still finding out what people are doing. We're still seeing how people are reacting, and as it's trying to get torn down. So the next one that pops up, there's probably going to be a little bit more. Oh, hey, they failed. We cannot fail. We need to show the government that we can do this. So there's going to be a little bit more, I think, of a competition in a sense of trying to keep the next Chaz alive. Now, obviously, you can have a different set of rules and mindset than this one, but it's going to be interesting to see and frightening to see how we go about addressing the next one, and the one after that, and the one after that. So we'll see.
Yep. And speaking of which, I was listening to a news article this morning, and they're trying to set up Chaz 2.0 in Seattle already at another police precinct.
Sick.
So, and as much as I hate to say this, I think the only reason it's as bad as it is because we are in a political year. We're in an election year. So all this stuff is going to keep happening over and over again because, hey, elections, yay.
I think things always get wild around election time.
Yep. And we're only going to get more and more crazy. So buckle up, everyone. We're about to become autonomized zones all over the United States. Oh, wait, what movie was like? Oh, Hunger Games? Anyone?
May the odds be ever in your favor.